all I know is Resonance isn't that great overall. And I don't know. I mean, it's like, all right, your Earth Spirit can roll in. He's going to have what? Wow, plus 40 damage. When you have a Wind Ranger and Marcy on hand who will right-click for you, I don't know if that really does much. Analog has to work lane. He has bigger issues than Resonance here, Mike. He has to lane up against a Shaker. Oh, the block falls short.
Oh. It's like when you play Pudge and you miss that first hook, John. It never recovers from there. It really doesn't. But we'll see if KJ recovers from that miss shards, but that's an unfortunate start.
And it is not quite what you want to see there, so we do get a pause, some mic issues. I'm having an issue with my mic right now. Hello, Mike LaPhoenix.
Hello. you don't want to tell me how great Stepping Stone is, John, in this
oh, it's
sport?
Fantastic. It's fantastic. That's why you pick it, not Resonance.
I hate you so much, John. Oh, I never said Resonance was good.
It's worse. It's worse.
They're both trash.
No. It's trash. Legitimately, Resonance is legitimately worse. They're not. I mean, Earth Spirit fundamentally is trash, right? But Stepping Stone is interesting. Stepping Stone can go crazy. Stepping Stone can go wild. Resonance, it's like, all right, you get to right-click, buddy. Have fun with your BAT.
We'll start with the mid lane, shall we, John? You're going to have Quinn here against Analog. It's going to be the ES versus ES matchup. Now, for anyone that's not aware, this is going to be very Quinn favored. This is not fun whatsoever if you are the Earth Spirit player. Not whatsoever.
No. The ideal for Analog now is maybe just standing back, boulder smashing what he can, maybe try to kick Quinn under if possible, but to make matters worse, Quinn does have the Slugger, so it's just free damage, man. Free damage over and over again every time he just enchants and kills a creep. You get to kick a stone, he gets to kick a body at you, Mike.
Yeah. How great stuff. First blood, Durachio going down bottom lane, Divine Llama able to secure first blood already at the level 1 mark. That's a great start if I've seen one here for Heroic.
That's the kind of start they need. They're leveraging off the damage you've got with Scatterblast, the slow setups they have with Divine. Have to watch your position a little bit early on here for Durachio, but that does set a good tone for the Marcy. Marcy offlane can go somewhat slow sometimes, depending on the matchup. Matchup against the Mirana might not be the comfiest, so you really have to work your angles into that, say, level 3 mark where you can go maybe 1-2-0 here on the Marcy and try to get the jump forward. You do have that reach, and you can kind of rely on the Scatterblast with full bore, kind of try to reach further out to set up, but we'll see how much more. It's a good tone for Devi. I feel like this Marcy needs to have a great lane. We've seen offlane Marcy fall behind, and it just doesn't feel great when it doesn't have a good start.
No, it certainly doesn't. That top lane, the one lane we haven't really discussed. In fact, they're going right now. Ace dropping fairly low here to KJ and K1. And this is another lane that could be considered quite powerful here from the side of Heroic. Like, assuming you can land those shards into the drinking buddies. And K1, of course, he's got a lot of follow-up damage to provide. So this could be a very dangerous lane for Gaimin.
It could be. Have to respect that slow and steady poke and the gap closing they've got. They do trap Tofu.
Oh, Tofu. He's good as dead here, it looks like. They're going to try and help out with the torrent, but Tofu, no, he actually makes it out. K1, he was forced to retreat just a little bit as the torrent did connect and just dropping a little bit too low, so Tofu able to survive another day. And Gaimin will get back to the farm.
I mean, this lane's pretty hard to kill off as well. Like, Ace is just very tanky now as a Kunkka.
Oh, Analog.
Without Nid. Oh.
He's just taking so much damage. Look at this. Quinn, if he can get within range for the stun, he's going to kill it. It's just one enchant totem may have done the job. Analog's alright, but this lane is not getting any better. It is tough.
And you have to contend with so much. Again, you come in, you cop a right click, you get blocked.
Uh-oh. He's alright. He's going to make it.
Yeah,
Finish your point, Joe. What were you saying?
I mean, it's all of that plus free damage from Slugger. Like, how is that fair? How is that fair? He's gonna last hit with Enchant Totem and just nuke you down slowly and steady on a very low cooldown spell. If he's not right-clicking you anyway with that low cooldown spell, like it's a double win for the Shaker in this matchup. At the very least, Analog does have rune control. That is something Earth Spirit can get done nicely. At the very least, spotting his own bounty, but can't really do much to stop this from Quinn. Look at that.
It's just... He has to roll to secure creeps. He kicks away right at the right moment. Very close call, as he did get hit by the mini-stun of the Aftershock. It's just so hard, because Analog has to commit rolling boulder to secure CS. But the issue is, he rolls into Quinn, and cops so much damage as bottom lane. Speaking of damage, Divine Llama is gone. They will at least find Celery, but a very nice trade here for Gaimin.
That's what you need here to recover for Gaimin. A little unfortunate for Divide as he dies first. He doesn't get that EXP to try to scale up on Marcy a little bit quicker into the double points and rebound. He does go for the 1-1-1 to try to get aggressive here. Have some more damage with a right click as well. See if they can keep this up. Not quite. It's hard to catch out once you've got that leap up in Duracho. Duracho, for his part, is still having a slower lane, so the farm pacing isn't as quick as you'd want here for the Mirana, but I don't know if that's really all that relevant, because all Mirana needs is to hit level 6, and Solar Flare can make things happen anyway.
Divide, bottom lane, it looks like he's going for a chase onto Celery, and they've already done quite a bit of damage here, but Celery, with the Wisps, is going to be just fine to survive through it. Very, very hard target to try and burst down. Meanwhile, Analog, he's been running around the mid lane just dragging creep waves, hoping for the best. Looks like he is going to stack a couple creep waves here in the mid lane. But it's just very, very messy here for Analog. Like, he's trying his best to not force the lane. But Quinn's doing a great job of stacking his own creep waves, so it just evens out. And you're starting to see the disparity in levels. Analog is behind an XP, and Quinn, once he has that level 6, it's almost a guaranteed kill if Analog doesn't pick up on it.
He should be aware. That will stop Analog from even just rolling in to clear some creeps. He is kicking the stones at the very least, finding some safe CS. But
he's gone now.
Yeah, he's got to bail out. Maybe could try to make a play at level 5. It's a little bit early, but they are a little bit forward up top, so could be an opportunity here for Analog.
Well, they could pick up Tofu. That's an easy pick off. Tofu will get spotted. Shards will land, and Tofu, this time around, cannot get out. He is gone. So it's a nice little pick up here for Analog. Does get away with it, though does sacrifice the 6-minute power rune, but there's nothing he could have done otherwise. He just has to go for kills now.
Quinn already has that 6, trying to be a little bit cheeky, but there was a walker to spot. It's his turn to rotate up top now.
He's still gone. I mean, they're at least going to find KJ by the looks of it. KJ trying to be as annoying as humanly possible and not give the free kill to Quinn. And it might be forced to Ace. Maybe. And in fact it will. Ace will take it. That's actually a bit of a win, I think, for Heroic, because you give up the support, but you're giving time for your mid-Earth Spirit to catch up, and now he has hit level 6.
Yeah, has the threat of the Magnetize, has a little bit more damage as well with the Resonance on top. So there is some play potential. Is still looking up top. Can still hang around the area with a slam ready, so it might end up being a mildly awkward fight. Again, you have to also consider just how durable Ace can make his team just with X-Mark.
Okay, K1. They missed the Fisher. K1 did not get hit by that at all. They'll land a follow-up stun here with the Enchanted Creep of Celery, but it's not going to make a difference. K1 is perfectly fine. And Quinn does not want to be here anymore, though Schofield, no, he doesn't even have Cookie anyway. Couldn't really hope for a cancel. No Shack. Ooh, mid lane though. They pop the Echo Slam, and Analog finds out the hard way as he will go down.
And they don't show anyone down bot. You know, Duracho's not farming, so it feels like someone should be showing up. Gives them the read for top. They had ward watching here from Gaimin behind the tower. It just makes it rather awkward. Gives that opportunity onto the mid. You mentioned free space for Analog. I mean, still having to play into a sniper lane with Shrapnel on Scattershot, although Divide.
They'll get the rebound on Celery. Celery trying to get away. Actually makes it out for now, but the snowball to follow up. Still, Celery is healing and buying a lot of time. Quinn, he might be able to clean up here. Divide, he'll go down first. KJ trapped up by his own shards. Nowhere to go but down. Still trying to run, but Quinn right behind him secures a double kill as now K1 will show his face. Analog, he's going to try to run in. They'll start with the Magnetize, see if they can get something going, but Quinn is still doing a lot of damage here as Schofield. Now going to turn back onto the Earthshaker, still trying, but a nice Fisher Quinn buying a bit more time, but the Magnetize should tick him out, and it does. Analog with some sweet, sweet revenge now as he could look towards Dyrachyo if he so wishes. But he's lost vision. That'll be enough, but I think Heroic, they should be very happy with that fight.
If they should, do manage to find some meaningful kills. A 3-for-3 special. You lose your 2 cores, but you do find the big one in Quinn. I think the one downside is, again, those 2 big cores aren't farming. In comparison, Dyrachyo, again, is getting a very free game to just play down bot, playing that jungle. No forward vision, no gate movement out from Heroic to try to punish the bot Mirana just yet. It is still slower for Dyrachyo. Again, Mirana can always just farm up. Oh.
They're moving on Tofu. Devilama with a very nice bait, even landing the rebound now onto Ace. They're throwing back to Boot. Hands up. Ace is a tanky boy, but not too tanky unless the help is incoming. And it is, but how fast can they get there? Quinn will show up eventually, but it is all too late. He's still hanging around though. He's got to smoke up with Celery, but they are going to back. Doesn't have anything like a blink yet to really initiate with the Echo Slam.
And that's, again, the kind of movement Heroic needs a lot cleaner this time. Just finding core kill Celery.
Does get caught. The Nature's Attendants will fly out though, making it pretty hard to take him down, but eventually they'll have his way with him. Analog with his 3rd kill of the game now.
Starting to ramp
Can
up
they
here
get Quinn? Almost felt like Analog was trying. In fact, he is trying. Quinn does get hit by the rolling boulder into the magnetizer with the kisses out. Quinn is down. Oh, I've got to give props to Analog here, John. He's doing a fantastic job. Considering the laning stage he had, this is a fantastic performance.
And it is. He's got the Urn up. He's got a little bit more damage to come in. Spirit Vessel coming up next to keep that momentum up. They're still keeping an eye up top. Ace.
Oh, Ace now in trouble. Devilama, he's been very good on this Marcy. Constantly being just so aggressive across the map, and Ace looks like he's accepted that he is going to die. As another core kill will go the way of Heroic, and this almost feels like Gaimin game 1.
Yeah, they're getting run down a little bit here on Gaimin. Heroic finding their openings, getting a lot more aggressive coming out here, especially with this Marcy pickup. I love seeing this from Devi. Like, he just gets this early Orb Corrosion. He goes all in for that to just get additional slow. A little bit less healing as well to try to mitigate some of that on the Kunkka. And it just allows them to keep this high tempo up. Like, there's not many long cooldowns to wait for here on the side of Heroic. And they'll go again. Already smoked up with Analog and Schofield, along with KJ. No wards to spot that one out. See if they find an angle in.
Oh, Ace. Is he going to reveal himself here, Ace? We'll go to the Ancients instead. Heroic, they're just waiting patiently by the T1 tower, but the pings are coming towards that Ancient camp. They seem to know somebody is there. Instead, however, they'll secure the top T1 tower. In Gaimin, they are rotating towards their own triangle, so they're thinking about a fight. But more so, I think Quinn just wants to farm up his Blink Dagger, but Quinn now may have been caught out, and he is. They'll lock him down, Quinn. He's got no help around him. He is gone. Still, they are very low on Heroic, so they might try to force a fight here, Gaimin. They do find Analog, but do you have the burst damage? No, the drinking buddies. KJ. He saves the day once again, as Analog will be able to get out of there just fine. Oh boy, and now Devi looking for more. They'll jump on Tofu. The kisses are out. Tofu is down. My oh my, Devilama, he wants more. They'll catch Celery, I think, but no. The snowball not quite landing. Arrow out, not gonna land. Schofield and Devi both avoiding the arrow. As now Quinn is back, but it's all too late. Everyone will retreat.
Again, they're finding some really good punishment. Great ward usage out from the side of Heroic. They kind of reveal it with a D ward they had early on, but Quinn doesn't respond to that quick enough with him clearing out the sentry. And that's enough time for them to get that jump in with that high mobility they have on Analog. Gaimin needs some time here. They need this blink to be up on Quinn. He's not that far off now, 300 gold away. And once you have that initiation angle set up for yourself, that's when things can start to simplify a little bit more for the Gladiators. And for Heroic, again, they don't have that many long cooldowns to wait for. They're giving a lot of space out for Hector to just free farm down bot. He hasn't even gone into the whirlwind just yet, just because he's farming. He doesn't need it. Just power shot and creep waves, power shot and camps, getting that build up into the Leightonir and the Dragonlance into BKB. You are right. This is pretty much a flipped script. It's Hector that's getting all of this free space created by Heroic clumping up his 4. And they'll keep staying clumped up. Again, no real cooldowns to wait for. Kiss is half a minute away, might not be necessary. Analog wants some more blood as he has the full Spirit Vessel up.
Certainly does. The hunt is on. Towards the top lane, it seems like is where they'll go. Celery and Ace were showing there for a moment, and it seems like KJ did have a bit of vision on Celery. In fact, they do have a ward watching him right now. Not quite the kill they would have wanted, but it seems like they're probably just going to accept it. Meanwhile, though, mid lane, they have found K1, and K1 is down. K1 is down as Celery still being chased up, but they don't have the control for it. Mid lane, Quinn trying for an Invis room, but here comes Analog. Rebound will land, and they have got themselves a mid-earth shaker. Quinn will go down as now Tofu is also in huge danger. Schofield with the kiss is just doing so much work. And even though they found K1, it's still a great trade here for Heroic.
And it is. You're slowing down again this tempo on the Shaker. Doesn't get to use his blink for a bigger fight. Was forced to slam to kill off Hector as well while he was in the mid. And for the side of Heroic, I mean, they're translating all of this really nicely. Again, Devi is starting to build up. He's going into BKB, into the Crystallis. Have a lot more damage for himself now. All of this mobility on the side of Heroic. Your hold here from the side of Gaimin, it's not the quickest to cast out, right? Like, Blink Slam is probably your fastest stun. Everything else is a lot slower. X setup for Arrow into Torrent. Fisher has a cast point that's pretty big enough to try to dodge here on Heroic's end. Enchant Totem as well. It's not the best way to open up a fight for you. So the options are just much easier to find for the side of Heroic. For Gaimin, again, they need time to build up. Daracho is working onto his own Gleipnir, kind of mirroring what Hector's building up. And, you know, once you have, if you can play around Solar Flare, that's where things can get spicy. I think I'd actually like to see a little bit more scaling coming out from Celery and Tofu, if at all possible, to play with that Solar Flare. Try for a smoke out, but all of Heroic's kind of up top eyeing Celery.
Oh, K1 isn't.
Oh?
K1 is not up there though, Jonathan. K1, he's the big boy you want anyway. Boat is going to connect. They realize he was alone and he's gone. KJ unable to help out in time, but here comes Heroic. They want to try and punish. They'll move on a Quinn, the Earthshaker. He'll pop the Echo. He'll try to fight back, but the backup is not there. They'll lose Quinn, but they'll take KJ with them. Another XL. They've got Analog with that X. Just trying to stop him from chasing down Daracio, but Daracio is still in danger, has no leap charges available, so they'll just keep going. Daracio, no way out, is gonna drop. Nobody able to help out. It's Analog looking for more now. Celery might be in danger, but they don't have the vision.
Oh.
Though the guess, Analog,
Ooh.
so close he could smell him, but not close enough.
Not quite. Again, another big exchange coming out for Heroic. I mean, again, losing Hector doesn't feel like the biggest deal. Yes, he's your pause 1. He's still ahead in net worth. You're keeping the tempo of Gaimin down by finding this consistent punishment onto Quinn. And even taking care of Daracho as well, who is still struggling to scale up. The Gaimin, they had the right idea, right? Like, they know there's play up top. They know Hector's been playing alone, kind of what we were looking for from Heroic in last game, but the response from Heroic's quick enough. Like, again, the tier 1 tower was still up. They had a lot of TP points to get into that position, and they just managed to collapse in the nick of time to get the punishment they're looking for. The Vi Lam has been putting so much work in. BKB already up, again, into the Crystallis, into a Basher for additional hold. This Marcy is a massive threat in the middle of these fights. Again, the mobility on the side of Heroic just makes it so hard for Gaimin to consider what angles to even watch out for.
Here we go again. 4-man smoke up, Heroic. Looking to make their way into that Radiant Triangle. Ace gonna break the smoke of KJ. Tofu was around as well. They'll spot him out now with the ward placed. Tofu, realizing he's not getting away, will just try to de-ward. And actually gets it. But is down. Slowly but surely they get it.
I think he is. They do waste some time, and again, Gaimin's trying to retake map space. They've sent the Daracho down bot. Just find some build-up while he can. Is still about 400 gold away, 380 gold away from the full Gleipnir. That should provide some options to stop this jumping around from the side of Heroic. Again, it's not going to stop the Vi at the very least here.
Quinn? Oh, Quinn's going for a solo kill onto K1, but it's going to cost him. The Echo Slam was just not enough. He was close, but not quite there, as they do secure another kill onto the mid Earthshaker. Now 3, 6, and 4 being the scoreline of Quinn. And it's a real shame too, because he had such a great start to this game.
Yeah, what he did. The punishment from Heroic has been severe. They've been able to isolate out this Earthshaker multiple times. They've been able to stop him from being too effective in these engagements. They've got the opening for Roshan on Heroic's end. We've got the damage to kind of deal with this as well. It's not the quickest Roshan in the world. The scan is out, but without the slam being available on Quinn, even when he respawns, it's just not going to be enough to even think about a contest. See how much Heroic can get from this Aegis. Maybe start to think about clearing out some of these tier 2s. Really start to choke out Gaimin even harder. For Gaimin's part, and again, it feels like there's a mix of a damage issue and a control issue. Like you have to be able to line up a big fissure from Quinn, and the slam's a bit of an extra bonus, but just the fissure control has to be on point. Almost feels like you kind of want to see the Shaker Shard on top, just so Quinn can stay a little bit safer in the back. To try to set up for his team to come in first. He is going for the BKB now, and is just lacking the Mithril Hammer Gold, about 1.1k away. Still, a great bounce back in from Heroic. 9-19, 3k lead up. Again, they're ramping up quickly. They've got that Chrysalis up on the Vi. You've got the Dragonlance up for more reach from Hector with a Whirlwind. That AoE is insane. Can just freely chase around, no issues here. Going for the BKB of his own and finishing up his own Gleipnir as well. There it is. Gaimin, I don't know, like, I do feel like Gaimin can scale into this game, but that's more on, like, Celery and Tofu understanding that they can use Solar Flare really well with a couple of items. Celery's going for that Dragonlance. Tofu is still staying on more of the buff stuff here on the Sniper. Nothing ridiculous yet, but again, if they stall the game out, it's not the worst thing in the world for Gaimin. It does feel like Heroic are under a little bit of pressure to play this fast tempo anyhow.
I'll start to feel that way. I mean, bottom lane, this tier 2 bottom tower now being targeted by Heroic. It's not going to take them too long once this fortification is over. The question is, Gaimin, do they want to try and defend? But the answer's looking like it's likely a no. Fortify is proving to be enough, and Quinn is creep skipping anyway. In fact, even the mid lane's being creep skipped right now by Celery's creeps, so no creep wave to try and support here for Heroic, so instead they're going to go for a 5-man smoke and try to force the fight. Ace is farming the triangle right now, and that'll be a great pick off to start. Analog, he'll rush in with the roll, but misses initially, gets the boulder smash, and now the shards to lock him in. But Ace is still a pretty tanky target. They'll have to commit more than that. Tossing him around, Ace still surviving. He'll get the boat out. They'll lock him down with the Gleipnir, but just so much hesitation to try and finish off Ace's life. He's still walking away. Surely they've got him. And they do. So Ace just bought an infinite amount of time, but nobody was coming to help.
No. Not quite ready. Quinn just finishes up his BKB now. If that held on for, or if that happened like maybe 5 seconds later, re-engage would have been a very clear line for the side of Gaimin. Run away with a nice pickup here on the side of Heroic. Starting to work back and stabilize their lanes. Side of Gaimin, again, still needing that ramp up. Naracho trying to work onto the shard for the bonus leap charge. A little bit of damage from leap as well. Into the BKB to be able to actually commit in front. I like the answers here from Ace. He has gone for the auras. You can see how much the Crimson Guard does in keeping him alive in this onslaught. And the pipe is going to help massively up against the Shaker, the Earth Spirit, and the Snapfire, of course. But it's still a ways off. That's the one key thing for Gaimin. They're not that far behind, but they don't have the most map space to try to equalize quicker here.
Certainly do not. It does start to feel like they've got the tools though to try and fight back now, like with the BKBs and the Crimson Guard you just mentioned. And in fact, they seem to agree they want to try and move in for this defense on the tier 2 top tower. And Echo Slam already committed. Quinn, he's jumped in. He's after the Llama, but it wasn't quite enough damage, so Quinn now is the one in danger. They'll focus him down immediately, and Quinn is gone. No buyback, but K1, He'll lose the Aegis. Duraccio in huge trouble, leaping all across the place, but is down as the tips do come up from Schofield. Duraccio just panic leaping, and it just was not enough. Meanwhile, Ace, being chased once again by Analog, does not seem like he can get away, as Analog, just too good with the rolls, connects another time, and they want more. They're looking to dive the T4 towers. Celery also caught out. Tofu getting kicked out of the fountain by Analog. Oh, the disrespect.
Oh, Heroic, they're feeling themselves. I mean, it was fairly optimistic out from Quinn. Blinks in, doesn't pop BKB, gets chain stunned after getting that slam. And it all falls apart. He's not able to fissure, he's not able to cut off. We talked about how important it is for Gaimin to have that map control on hand, to have that way of splitting up the fight, cutting off these heroes, cutting off that mobility they have. It just didn't come in. Duracho?
Another fight? I mean, Gleipnir does lock him down. Arrow was there. They are still playing with that Echo Slam, though. Analog, he's hanging about. Goes for a roll, but is very deep and immediately just BKB TPs away. He wanted to roll into the kick onto Quinn, but he won't quite find it.
No. Forced to use a BKB charge to back off, but it's all well and fine. Still has 8-second charge. That was his 9-second charge, but doesn't feel like it's too important just yet here for Heroic anyhow. Inside of Gaimin, they need to be able to have Quinn actually. Oh,
he's hanging about. He's invis right now. He's just stalking Quinn by the looks of it. Going deep as well. There's no sentries as far as I can see. So KJ, very, very sneaky. Just cosplaying Ricky at the moment. Sees the whole side of Gaimin. It's a lot of information that KJ is providing to his side. And they have literally zero idea he's doing all this. There you go. The invis wears off and he's out of it. Nothing ever happened. In fact, Tofu's like, wait a minute. Well, why is there a ward here? He'll get the T-ward at least.
Yeah. That just gives free space for Heroic. They're working up top, getting that farm on the Vi, working towards looks like a nullifier coming out for himself here into the Basher now. And you still got Hector scaling up, going for the full Satanic to kind of counteract the reflective damage from the blade mails that are on hand. So he does have some sustain for himself here. Into the full Daedalus afterwards as well, as he's flying out the Crystallis. The side of Gaimin, I mean, again, it kind of boils down to, can Quinn get an Echo and Fissure? Or at least just a Fissure to start with? Because that's really the big thing they have to get control. That's the only tool they have to stop the kisses from Schofield. He has not died in this game yet. And he is 9-0-14 on the Snapfire, standing a million miles away, playing with a Scatter Blast and the Mortimer's Kisses. Like, that magic damage is an issue, and they're not even able to take care of a support like that. They have to deal with all of these mobile frontline, giving so much room out for the Snapfire to just play her own game. And it feels like that's going to have to be Quinn's responsibility somehow. And it's easier said than done. Again, he has been jumping in for the team, but the response is just devastating from the side of Heroic so far.
You see K1, Quinn, he might be thinking about jumping this mid lane again. We've seen what happens though if he does try. He just does not have the burst potential right now to get the job done on his own. And Heroic now rushing back towards their own jungle, trying to find some stragglers here. Tofu is still around and so is Ace, but they aren't able to quite keep up. So everybody is able to get out of there just fine here from Gaimin. It is very, very important they all do survive and just continue the farm game the best they possibly can, because it still feels like they are just way too far behind to continue trying to fight back. As Celery does get eventually caught out here by Schofield. Analog will roll himself in. Celery, he's going to pounce away. See if he can find a nice TP point, and he does. He's good.
Yeah, that's a perfect spot for it to stall for time. Leaves Heroic hugging their top mid area, freeing up this bot area for Gaimin to just catch up and farm. They're working towards the Ags for Quinn to have a little bit more mobility with Blink. Still trying to work into the ores here for Ace, still a ways off from the full pipe, although not too far off now with 3.6k in the bank. You've got the BKB for Duracho, still 2 parts away as well. hasn't had as much progression. Does have, again, did go back for the Dragon Lance as well. 9k lead still holding for Heroic. Roshan is going to be back up in less than 20 seconds here. Do still have control in that top area unless Celery can set up some forward vision. And it looks like he might be able to, at least with Watcher.
Celery. He'll hang about. I mean, he won't really mind if he dies here. Just again, more space is much more important here for Gaimin. It's like Heroic have kind of slowed the tempo a little bit. I mean, they do spot out Roshan, and Celery continues to get tipped by KJ, just respecting the plays here from Celery, of course. Well, now Roshan can get started, but Gaimin surely have to fight. What is it, Jonathan?
No, KJ says, I like this one.
What do you like, John?
They might like this.
So happy about it. They may not like this, John. Analog may get caught. Arrow, barely going to avoid him. He'll get the roll away. K1 immediately out of the pit. They want the fight. Gaimin, though, making it hard without giving any vision as they do jump in, but Quinn, he's also jumped in. It's a very awkward start. He gets caught. BKB is there, though, from Quinn. He'll try to fight Devi, but the damage output. Devi, he'll be the first one to go down, but Quinn will closely follow as now Tofu in huge trouble. Looking to go down, does drop, and they've even found Ace. They want everything. They'll even chase Celery while they're at it. Analog not leaving him alone. Though Celery, he'll be okay to walk out. They want the Roshan more. But it's another successful team fight, it seems, for the side of Heroic.
It is. You managed to hold out. What in the heck damaged Devi so much? He was pinging it. Non-hero did 1000 damage. What's the creep? Is there a creep that I wasn't seeing? What the hell was that?
Non-hero damage, 1k.
Yeah.
Maybe Roshan? He must have been tanking Roshan.
No, he jumped forward. Maybe. I don't think he was that low. But still, pretty happy with that for Heroic. They still find Roshan. They get the secondary life for Hector. Again, great ideas from the side of Gaimin. It's just trying to jump Analog first. Not the way that fight should have worked out. Smoke breaking the tree line. Not able to get that jump in from Quinn either. The slam's only onto one. Fissure doesn't come in to cut off that cleanly as well. And the side of Heroic are still in control of this game. 13k up. No real cooldowns to wait for. Kisses coming back off. Whirlwind almost back off as well. Daedalus already up for Hector. And Gaimin need to be able to angle these fights. They need to utilize the Solar Flare fully. And they pop it preemptively on the Racho to get the ramp up. But that does give you very little time to play with it. It's a mildly narrow window kind of play with that buff. About 9 seconds at max. And they just weren't set up all too well. They might be able to find Quinn again.
Forced the BKB TP out. The KJ is there with the Walrus Punch in time, and Quinn not going to be too happy with that. He will drop. Unable to get away in time. Still Devi Llama in the meantime. Even finding Duraccio there for a second. But they aren't able to keep up with the Mirana. Duraccio will be fine. But Quinn will drop another time on this Earthshaker.
Yeah, it's forcing out another BKB charge down to 7 seconds now for Quinn. And again, he's trying to get farm where he can, giving Duraccio a little bit of a safer space to build up. It's just costly. Very costly for the side of Gaimin. Heroic can start to look at that last outer tower. Maybe even consider high ground with so much time left on that Aegis still. And there's not many options for the side of Gaimin. Their high ground teamfight is theoretically very strong if the slam can come out. But it's a lot to ask for. Heroic have been very disciplined in just using Analog first, using this Earth Spirit to bait out a lot of the attention, and just playing off the back of that, playing off that space he provides here.
In we go. Top racks. We'll go down very, very quickly, Heroic. Looking to force a draw. Doing pretty damn good so far. 14k advantage their way, of course. On to the mid racks they'll go. Gaimin, of course, just waiting for Quinn before they do try to force this fight. We'll see if Heroic even want to stick around. In fact, they found Duraccio in that dire triangle. Analog, he's got no roll in time. They will not be able to get the kill. No TP cancellation, sadly. the analog, he does at least find an amp damage rune on his way up. So they're a bit of a kind of consolation prize.
It is. Might have been better off to give that bottle over to Hector, but with the resonance, you're going to be able to do quite a fair bit of poke damage to try to burst someone down on that initial jump in. You don't have the tankiest supports in the backline. Tofu will just absolutely melt. Celery might be able to last longer with the untouchable, but it's still going to be a little bit of an issue. The Ag's finally up on Quinn, so he can look for multiple ways to weave himself in and out of these fights. Going for the Octarine next, if he can somehow find a form for it. Does have his free shard up as well. So the Shaker can start to try to control these fights a little bit better. Mass TP's back to the base for the side of Gaimin. Heroic plumping up for a smoke. They did briefly see the Enchantress up top, but might not be able to find anything off the back of the smoke unless they just hold the triangle. Quinn.
Thinking about it, I mean, they are smoked on his high ground, but they are going to be underneath vision very, very soon. In fact, KJ, he tries to jump in. They did see the ward being dropped, so Quinn very easily able to blink out there in time. D-wards will be out immediately here from KJ, though. You see Gaimin, they'll run right towards the bottom side of the map, trying to find any kind of farm they can get. Question is, do Heroic chase, or do they just force them in tier 3 tower? And it seems like they will force them in tier 3 tower. Just force them back to defend. No need to chase them down the whole map. K1. No. He'll get to work. Arrow will land. Maybe they can chip away at this first Aegis. And they've got it. It had about 30 seconds left for expiry anyway. So a bit of a reset now for K1. Heroic, how confident are you to stick around and try again? I mean, they are still here. At the very least, they are keeping Gaimin in their base. I mean, Quinn's the only one that's really able to roam out right now. So he will be okay to start farming a little bit more on the Shaker, but it is still looking very, very dire for the rest of the squad.
That it is. Just having to play tower defense at the moment. Farm pace, again, has been thrown a little bit off. At the very least, Diracho has matched analog. Hector has run away with this game, as we tend to see when Hector has a good game. Just farms like a maniac and provides himself with quite the lead. 10 to 29, 14k lead for Heroic. They could opt to just kind of control the map until next Roshan. I don't see any major items they're really waiting for here, but probably just the safety net for the challenges of high ground. And should be the safer play anyhow. A bit of a smoke out from Gaimin, maybe just to get some vision out. Doesn't look like they're fully clumped for this one, and Tofu will get some forward vision to ensure they can still farm down. But Quinn's still farming up top while he can. Doesn't look like he'll be punished this time around either. So they are utilizing the space quite nicely. Like, yes, Heroic still have the advantage. Gaimin are still finding some ways to try to farm back into this game. Get some tools on hand for themselves. The MKB for the Rocher is going to do a massive amount of work here, although...
They've scouted out Quinn. They know he's there. Huge trouble here for the Shaker. He'll try to BKB TP away. In fact, he won't even try to TP because he knows KJ is going to cancel. That's another big one, John. 70 seconds without your mid-earth Shaker.
I'm a little bit surprised he stayed that long there. Like, he had a right ID, he cleared all the camps. Thought he'd TP back earlier, but again, it's space for everyone else. Tofu gets to farm a bit into his 4-staff, not quite scaling yet in the sniper. You do have scaling on Celery, at the least, and again, he can play with a Solar Flare very nicely as the BKBs fade away. Has his own 9-second BKB. Feels like you are kind of relying now on your Mirana plus your Enchantress to actually kill off these heroes, and everyone else is going to be bodies to throw in front. Let's see if Heroic... That's going to be enough for them, and they will start onto the high ground again. Fortify not yet resetting.
We've got buyback available now on Quinn. See if they can force it though. K1. They'll Gleipnir him up, X-drag him back, but the arrow has already been committed, so they will miss that one out. So the cookie does not help K1, but the drinking buddies will. K1 taking a lot of damage, but he will be okay to retreat. He is fine. But that was a little bit too close for comfort, I want to say.
That it is. You have to really respect just how much Celery can do if you're not going to pop your BKB open or once it fades away. Like, there is a lot of damage coming in here from the Mirana and the Enchantress. And only so much the Wind Ranger can do. And that will hold them back. Again, Roshan is still a very clear option for Heroic. They still have map control. All the waves are shoving back into their favor. Just need to course correct down bot a little bit. Does look like, but still not that much wiggle room for the side of Gaimin.
Win? Oh, he's under vision. They know he's there. He's underneath an observer ward of the Dire. KJ, easiest jump in of his life. Quinn, he'll pop the BKB. They at least use the Walrus Punch so he can get out. Onto Duraccio they'll go. I'll try for the Mirana instead. Duraccio desperately trying to leap away. Looks like he's fine for now, but the chase is continuing. They're just not giving up. Shards out, rebound forward, but they can't catch him. Maybe a slight error there from KJ as well, starting with the Walrus Punch, rather than maybe the Snowball.
Yeah. I think he just didn't want to risk Quinn getting a blink away, as we've seen before when his smoke broke. And is punished for that one. Still, that could be an opportunity for Gaimin. They don't have BKB on Quinn, but if he comes in with a slam and at least one good Fisher block, that could make the difference here.
Schofield's going to show. They still don't seem to really want the fight here, Gaimin. They are going to retreat once again onto their high ground, but Analog's just going to rush right in. He could not give a crap. So does Devi. They'll find at least Ace, but Devi Lama is taking too much damage. Meanwhile, Duraccio, just look at the damage output he's taking. K1's got him. Ace is looking pretty dead as well. They do at least finish off the Lama, but this Wind Ranger, it's just so much damage.
It really is. Universal type, you get bodyguard thrown onto you. You are really hard to kill off. You weren't really in position either for Celery to twack away with a solar flare. He ends up just correcting the lane. And again, they forced that fight without the BKB on Quinn. Needed to find a bigger angle to get some control in there. Now you're going to be stuck without the Racho. Another opening out for Heroic. They've got the full Lincolns to protect here on Hector now as well. Not going to be held back by the X any longer. And that should provide a safety net to just clear this out.
Yeah, absolutely. The tier 3 tower in the mid lane will go down. Heroic getting started on that mid Brax. Still 2 heroes without buyback available here for Gaimin as mid Brax, at least the range Brax is now gone. K1 does not really seem to want to risk any more than that. So Heroic still playing very conservative. They do have a 19k advantage and they are certainly looking like the much stronger team here in game 2, but they are not willing to risk giving a comeback here to game.
No. Again, there are still angles in for Gaimin. Very slim, very small angles, but still certainly a way to take these fights. They just haven't found the real opening they want. It's been rather awkward with when they've been forced to pop their BKBs under initiation, how their positioning are for these fights on rather awkward choke points as well. You can see that the Racho's damage is insane. Like, we saw the Vi Lama ping out again, 2,000 damage from LeBron in that short window right before dying. That's a lot. We'll get themselves the next Roche here on Heroic. Secondary life up for Hector. Have the refresh or shard now as well for Analog. It's a double BKB. A lot of stuff you can throw up front in these fights as well. Side of Gaimin. We've got to see that perfect team fight now. Celery will die off as they clear out their Tormentor, though. Rather unfortunate.
Yeah. That's alright. He's doing what he needs to do. It's fine. Here we go. Through the bottom racks. Or rather, the bottom lane is where Heroic will start. They've got the Roshan banner, but Tofu is making easy work of that on the sniper, as now KJ does jump in with the kickback. He's already found Ace, the Kunkka. He's a tanky boy. Quinn with the Echo, but it just hasn't done enough. The damage just wasn't there, as now K1. Oh, look at this, Joe. I mean, how is this balance?
Mm-hmm. Ain't it great? Isn't Wind Ranger amazing, huh?
Yeah, just cool. I mean, GG. They've seen enough. This Wind Ranger, you can't let it go through, man. It's just not a fair hero.
And it certainly isn't. Lots of output out from Hector, and very well played from Heroic. I think a lot of this game